potato.
This is 7 News.
Good afternoon, it's 4 o'clock and these are the stories making headlines right now. Forever indebted to their enormous contribution. Tributes paid as the victims from yesterday's firefighting plane crash disaster are named. A team of volunteer firefighters say they're lucky to be alive after their truck rolls down an embankment on the New South Wales south coast. And fears grow over the deadly coronavirus. 6 people in Australia are now being tested as the death toll in China jumps significantly. First at 4, the 3 men who died when their water-bombing plane crashed while fighting fires in the Snowy Mountains region of New South Wales have been identified. The state's RFS Commissioner paid tribute to the Americans as he announced a state memorial for all those lost in what he calls the state's darkest summer in history. Olivia Lemming has the latest.
All 3 men have been described as incredibly experienced with a high level of expertise in aerial firefighting, raising more questions about how this aircraft struck such a tragic end. They include the captain and father of 3, Ian Macbeth, First Officer Paul Clyde Hudson, who had served in the US Marine Corps for 20 years, and Flight Engineer Rick De Morgan Jr., a loving father of 2 children. These exclusive pictures of the charred wreckage show there was little hope of any surviving this crash. The C-130 Hercules was heading to waterbomb a fire in the snowy Monero region when it went down at peak view, engulfed in a ball of flames. The deaths of the crew, all aged in their early to mid-40s, have sent shockwaves through the firefighting community, with their grieving families expected to arrive in Sydney over the weekend. Rural Fire Service Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons says they will never be forgotten.
We will be forever indebted to the enormous contribution and indeed the ultimate sacrifice that's been paid as a result of these extraordinary individuals doing a remarkable job, as they have done now for years here in New South Wales.
Investigators from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau are starting to collect evidence and review the plane's data, trying to piece together exactly what went wrong. A state memorial service will be held late next month for the 3 Americans, along with the 3 New South Wales firefighters who've also died battling blazes. A reminder of the high risk involved for those who put their lives on the line this fire season.
And the New South Wales Police Force and Air Transport Safety Bureau are updating the media at the moment. Let's have a listen to what they've had to say.
Our early understanding at this date is the aircraft arrived around about 13:15 on site and proceeded to drop a line of fire retardant across the ridge. Not long after the aircraft had discharged the retardant, the aircraft impacted terrain, killing the 3 on board the aircraft.
That was Chief Commissioner Greg Hood there. 6 firefighters say they're thankful to be alive after their truck rolled down an embankment on the New South Wales south coast. The crew had spent the day fighting bushfires and were on their way home when tragedy nearly struck. Peter Fegan has more.
Well, they're here to save lives, protect homes and help communities. But for 6 brave fireys from Sydney, it was themselves that actually needed help last night after they rolled their tanker down this embankment. Now, call it luck if you will, but after it rolled, it actually landed back on its wheels, meaning that all on board were able to free themselves from the wreckage. Now, luckily for the crew from Hornsby and Ku-ring-gai in Sydney, they all walked away relatively unharmed. All 6 required hospital treatment for cuts and bruises. There was 1 dislocated shoulder and another sent for a CAT scan. It was roughly 11 o'clock last night when the tanker was travelling on the Princess Highway at Mogo when it smashed through the barrier and rolled down the embankment. Now, as I said earlier, the crew were all able to free themselves before being taken to hospital.
We just kind of approached the barrier and went kind of straight through it, and then things just went black and started rolling around, just like being on a washing machine. Accidents happen in the day. It's just been us who's been the unfortunate ones this time.
Amongst the crew was Luca Dahl. Incredibly, he's just 17 years old. He's school captain at Ku-ring-gai High School and about to start year 12. Sitting next to him was his dad, Lars.
Does this sort of thing ever cross your mind?
It does run through it.
and it is sort of scary.
Accidents do happen, and we were really lucky with what happened to us.
The crew was in town to lend a hand after dangerous conditions yet again returned to the south coast. There's been property loss yet again in the town of Moruya and its surrounds. Assessment teams are today trying to establish just how many, but from what we've seen today, there's been at least 3, but there are fears that number will rise. As for conditions here today, they are favourable for firefighters. It's a lot cooler with some light rain, and those conditions are expected to stick around for the next few days.
At least 6 people in Australia are now under investigation for the deadly coronavirus that's sweeping across China. For more, let's go live to Sean Berry in Sydney. Good afternoon to you, Sean. Authorities have just given an update.
Yes, Sally, and 26 people have now died. Nearly 200 are in a very bad shape and 800 are ill from the human coronavirus as international health authorities struggle to contain the outbreak. Vision is emerging from China of some victims collapsing in the streets and being whisked away by medics in protective clothing. There are still no confirmed cases here in Australia, but here in Sydney we've moved from 1 possible case yesterday to 4 people who are now under investigation. Those people have shown up at 3 different hospitals in Sydney. The specific hospitals are being kept a secret. Now, anyone who has been to the Chinese city of Wuhan recently or may have come in contact with someone who has is being urged to look out for potential symptoms and move quickly if they show up.
Fever, cough, lethargy, sore throat, pneumonia. We really do want you to present to get assessed for whether you have got a novel coronavirus infection.
If one of the suspect Australian patients is found to be infected, a full treatment centre here in Sydney has been set up at Westmead Hospital, which is ready with strict quarantine protocols.
OK, thank you very much, Sean Berry, with that update from Sydney. Nationals leader Michael McCormack has again thrown his support behind his embattled deputy Bridget McKenzie, despite calls for her to step aside over her handling of sports funding. Mr McCormack says speculation that some within his own party want her to resign is untrue. He says he'll wait for the results of an investigation.
I'm not going to be judge and jury. I'm going to let process take its course. That's the only right thing to do. In any situation in Australia, people are always innocent until proven otherwise.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison says he'll take appropriate action when the report is handed down. Samantha Brett joins us now with a look at the national weather. Hello to you, Sam.
Good afternoon, Sal. We had some very intense weather this morning, particularly in New South Wales. So take a look at the hailstorm that moved in from the west into the city before making its way north. And during that time, we saw about 30,000 lightning strikes over the city in just a few hours. So taking a look now at the radar, and the rain has eased across Victoria, but there are still scattered showers for Brisbane and Sydney. So it is going to get very wet in Queensland, with storms likely to cause flash flooding in the state's northwest in the coming days. Let's take a quick look at what is happening right now across the country. Well, it is sunny and 22 degrees in Melbourne, 27 degrees in Canberra, 26 degrees in Sydney. It is very hazy with more showers on the way. Brisbane 31, as I mentioned, 31 degrees also in Perth and Darwin. And I will have more weather at the top of the hour. Sally?
Thank you very much. See you then, Sam. Still to come in 7's afternoon news, how childproof is your pool fence? This frightening video taken by an Aussie mum may make you think again. And the first of Harvey Weinstein's accusers takes the stand at his rape trial. We'll hear the actress's shocking testimony next.
Come with us for a very special night.
They started off as just a seed of an idea and grew into some of the world's most spectacular gardens.
Tonight, bring it all back home.
Which idea will you plant?
It's just like purple rain takes your breath away.
Better Homes, Gardens of the World. Tonight on 7/2.
Domino's Everyday Value Pizzas are now back to $5. Your favourite value pizzas, all with fresh dough, sauce made from vine-ripened tomatoes and stretchier, tastier mozzarella. Now back to $5 at Domino's.
What are you doing this weekend? Just the usual.
All Happyanas, only $14.99. Burke and Will Simpson chair, half price. Play more, pay less.
Anaconda! I'm all about real people looking for real relationships. That's why I trust eHarmony.
No one can connect you with high-quality singles like eHarmony. That's why every 14 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony. Start free today.
That feeling. That's what inspired Endless Data. Get data that never ends for only $40 a month on our 12-month SIM-only Plus plan. Get that feeling. Click, call, or come in store.
Ooh, nature lovers. This'll be easy. Let's get 'em!
With 98% natural ingredients, Mortein Nature Guard's all-day protection is tough on bugs, not on people.
Your spare pair. Your glare pair. The flying through the air pair. We could all use a second pair. At Specsavers, get 2 designer pairs, no gap, from the $199 single vision range when you're with selected health funds.
Airwick Essential Mist transforms fragrance infused with essential oils into mist. Take in jasmine. Let go of stress. Experience the power of Airwick Essential Mist.
Is your home running out of space? Time to call the kings of storage, moving and more. Visit storageking.com.au and store before the 15th of Feb to get 1 month storage free. Let Storage King give you back some space.
It's the perfect time of year to relax and reward yourself. Upgrade to multi-award-winning Jasper, an icon of Australian design. On sale now at the King Living Annual Summer Sale.
Want to know a simple way to compare thousands of offers that could save you money?
Find a better deal for you at finder.com.au.
Finder saves me time with free comparisons in over 100 categories.
Find a better deal for you at finder.com.au.
That's why over 2 million Aussies use Finder every month.
Find a better deal for you at finder.com.au.
Experience Viking, the thinking person's cruise. Explore the world in comfort on our award-winning ships with no kids and no casinos, more time in port, included shore excursions, resident historians, and all-inclusive value makes Viking the discerning traveller's cruise line.
Viking's Explorer sale now on. Save up to $4,000 per couple. Call 138 747 or see your Viking travel agent.
A Perth mother has issued a warning to other parents after she filmed her toddler gaining access to the backyard swimming pool. Within seconds, 3-year-old Isaiah and his baby sister are poolside. His mother, Crystal, fears if she hadn't been watching, the worst could have happened.
It took me days to get over that. I was in shock. It was a bit surreal, and I kept thinking, you know, what would have happened if I hadn't have been there? I would have walked out to something horrific. So, yeah, it was quite frightening.
She posted the video online, which has now received more than 1.5 million views. The first of Harvey Weinstein's accusers has taken the stand at the former Hollywood mogul's rape trial. Sopranos actress Annabella Sciorra described in chilling detail the night Weinstein allegedly attacked her. Paul Caddock has more from New York.
Good afternoon. It's been an emotional day of testimony from Sopranos star Annabella Sciorra as she told the court how she had been raped by Harvey Weinstein in her New York apartment back in the 1990s. The 59-year-old said afterwards, "I wanted to pretend it never happened because I wanted to get back to my life." She became emotional as she then described how she became withdrawn from family and friends. She began drinking and started to harm herself. Under cross-examination, Harvey Weinstein's lawyers asked about her lack of memory on specific details and dates, why she didn't call for help or run out of the apartment after Weinstein entered. "It was very fast," Sciorra replied. She conceded she didn't go to the police, a doctor or a hospital afterwards, saying she was devastated and she didn't understand that was rape. Harvey Weinstein isn't charged over this alleged assault on Annabella Sciorra because under New York law it happened too long ago. But the prosecution is hoping it'll help show a pattern of behaviour as they seek to prove charges of predatory sexual assault committed against 2 other women.
That Mr. Weinstein was beginning to, or I don't know if that was the beginning, but at least committing an act in the 90s that would be an act that could be considered sexually predatory.
Charges which carry a penalty of between 10 years and life in prison. The trial continues from New York. It's back to you.
More than 3.5 years after voters in the United Kingdom opted to leave the European Union, Boris Johnson's Brexit bill has become law. The bill was given royal assent after being signed off by the Queen. The European Parliament will meet next week to debate the agreement, paving the way for a divorce on January 31. The UK would then enter a transition period until the end of the year, during which it would remain an EU member. A tanker truck carrying gas has exploded in Peru, killing 2 people and injuring 50 and burning down more than a dozen homes. It's understood the truck's gas line was ruptured after hitting a pothole in Lima. The driver attempted to stem the flow of gas for 10 minutes before the blast was triggered. Fire then spread to homes nearby, injuring a number of residents and bystanders. Stay with us, plenty more to come here on 7's Afternoon News, including a bizarre standoff at Bondi. What prompted the famous beach to be swarmed with police? And in sport, Jim Wilson, Nick Kyrgios blows up at his support crew on his way to victory at the Australian Open.
After 40 years of bringing us the news, Kay McGrath is signing off from the news desk. Join us for a special edition of 7 News, Sunday at 6.
Domino's war on delivery charges just got bigger because our $15 delivered deal now includes our vegan and plant-based pizzas. Any large pizza just $15 delivered.
Support that's backed by orthopedic research. Because it's what's inside that counts. And that's what makes it clearly a Sealy.
With a pet, your home doesn't always smell fresh.
Airwick plug-ins have fragrance infused with essential oils. You can dial them up or down for a subtle, long-lasting freshness in your home. Airwick plug-ins.
Rooftop solar rebates reduced January 1. But if you think you missed lowest prices, think again. For a limited time, Arise Solar, one of Australia's largest solar retailers, is rolling back prices to last year's maximum rebates. This month only, Arise Solar is holding over a limited quantity of Tier 1 6.6 kilowatt systems with 30-year panel performance warranty at last year's price, just $36.81. Rebate rollback prices only till January 31 or while stocks last. Call 1-800-ARISE Solar.
Yes, things have never been so sweet. It's why we're getting under your feet.
Mortein PowerGuard crawling spray kills cockroaches 2 times faster than any other brand, so the show won't go on.
Smart, more safe, Mortein.
Harvey Norman Mates Rates. Ripper deals for 5 days only plus 60 months interest free. 15% off Microsoft Surface Pro 7, Pro X, Laptop 3 and Book 2. Samsung 65-inch 4K Smart TV. Only $995. This Kelvinator family size fridge just $788. Up to 50% off lounge, dining, home office and discontinued outdoor furniture. Up to 50% off Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. Up to 30% off carpet and flooring. Hurry in for many more Ripper deals. Mates Rates end Monday at Harvey Norman.
Go! Welcome back, Steve. Here's your new phone.
Thank you.
Just slide here.
See that? That's the feeling of being supported. Get that feeling. Click, call, or come in store.
You've got a credit card that earns rewards points as you spend?
Yeah, you need one too.
With so many comparisons in one place, finding a credit card with better rewards is simple.
Get a credit card that works for you.
A man's been arrested at Sydney's Bondi Beach after allegedly harassing multiple women. The 38-year-old suspect ran into the water when approached by officers, perching on a rock for 2 hours. The bizarre standoff finally ended when a police helicopter, water patrols and lifeguards became involved. He's been granted bail and will face court in March. Sport now with Jim Wilson. Hello to you, Jim.
Hello, Sal.
Now, Ash Barty marches on at the Australian Open.
Yeah, she was impressive again this afternoon. Sal, good afternoon to you. Afternoon, everyone. Ash Barty is through to the last 16 at the Australian Open and coming into her own. The Aussie world number one played her best game of the summer to thrash rising star Elena Rybakina 6-2, 6-2. Now, Barty's no-nonsense approach continued at the media conference.
My expectations are rising?
No, everyone's expectations
yours are.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care about yours, so it's all good. I'm fine.
Very good. But Serena Williams is out. She's just been stunned in 3 sets by China's world number 29 Wang Cheng last night. Nick Kyrgios was brilliant for 2 sets, had a meltdown, blamed his own support team, then recovered to beat Gilles Simon in 4 sets.
I was being a bit of to them, and I apologised as soon as I went back into the locker room.
Rafael Nadal collected a ball girl with an errant forehand, so the world number one apologised with a kiss on the cheek. Australia is through to the quarterfinals of the Under-19 Cricket World Cup in South Africa after a thrilling last ball win over England. Chasing 253, the Aussies needed 40 runs from the final 3 overs before fast bowler Connor Sully, batting at number 9, smashed an unbeaten 35 to seal the win on the final delivery.
Lovely shot. This has been a superb victory, courtesy Sully and Murphy.
What a finish. Australia will play either New Zealand or India in the quarterfinals. The Sydney Sixers piled more pain on the Brisbane Heat at the Gabba last night with an 8-wicket victory. Marnus Labuschagne fell for 3 as the Heat struggled to 8 for 128. Steve Smith made just 9 in his first Big Bash game in 6 years.
And there's a wicket. So Pattinson gets one up at Smith and he's knocked him over.
James Vince and Josh Phillippe both smashed half-centuries to get the Sixers home with 25 balls remaining to condemn the Heat to their 2nd straight loss at home. The Sixers have reclaimed 2nd spot on the Big Bash ladder following that win against the Heat. The top 5 teams qualify for the finals. Now bring this on tonight. The Sydney Thunder take on the Hurricanes in Hobart before the Perth Scorchers take on the Adelaide Strikers at Optus Stadium in Perth. Both games live and free right after 7 News. The Brisbane Broncos have announced back rower Alex Glenn as their new captain for the 2020 season. The 31-year-old, who has played 259 games for the Broncos since his debut in 2009, will take over from Darius
To sit here in front of all of you and lead this club to the best of my ability is something that I'm very grateful for, and I'll be doing everything that I can to make you all proud. So thank you so much.
We wish him all the best. Glenn becomes the Broncos' 12th skipper in their 32-year history. Liverpool extended their lead in the Premier League to 16 points after a 2-1 win over Wolverhampton. Jordan Henderson opened the scoring inside 10 minutes before the home side drew level. Roberto Firmino stepped up to seal the Reds' 14th straight victory.
Firmino, you cannot write them off at any stage.
The only concern for Jurgen Klopp's side is a hamstring injury to star striker Sadio Mane. The Brisbane Bullets moved into 4th on the NBL ladder after a 108-101 victory over South East Melbourne Phoenix at home last night. The Bullets trailed heading into the last quarter before storming home thanks to big man Will Magnay, who starred with a remarkable 7 blocks.
Really pleasing, again, to be 3 down with 5 minutes to go and find a way to win by 7 is good signs for our group.
The Phoenix have now lost their last 3 games. A number of riders were caught up in a big crash in stage 4 of the Tour Down Under as the riders closed in on the finish at Murray Bridge.
Oh, there's been a crash here, and that is one of the riders from Education First has taken a very nasty tumble left.
As the pace picked up, George Bennett came unstuck, just trying to stay on the road. Caleb Ewan steered clear of the carnage to power home in a sprint finish to take the stage victory. The Kookaburras and Hockeyroos Road to Tokyo steps up tomorrow when they open their Hockey Pro League campaign against Belgium. It's the first match of the year for both of the Aussie sides, who have high hopes in 2020.
We're hoping for big things later on in the year, but we know a consistency is what we're after.
It gives us a great opportunity to assess the players, to assess our team against all the top sides.
Currently ranked number 1 in the world, our men's number 2 for our Hockeyroos. The 2 teams will meet again on Sunday. Australia's snowboarding superstar Scotty James went to Aspen and completed total domination of the X Games Superpipe event today. He led from his opening run and claimed his 10th straight victory at world level.
This is absolutely silly.
Is there something higher than first place?
James hasn't lost since the 2018 Winter Olympics. It's his second straight X Games gold, third overall, second only to American legend Shaun White. He was our flag bearer in 2018 at Pyeongchang. Looking forward to a big double-header tonight. I'll be hosting Sunday's big game between the Sydney Thunder and the Perth Scorchers. So we love the Big Bash.
We love it. Good on you, Jim.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks for that. This afternoon's top stories are next, including breaking new details on the water-bombing plane disaster. Our reporter will join us live. A man accused of scamming drought-stricken farmers faces court. Will have the magistrate's tough reaction. The adorable moment between the tennis world #1 and a ball girl. We'll catch up with the recipient of this kiss shortly. And the scientific explanation over why stress is sending you grey. We'll tell you how you can keep your colour a little later at the bulletin.
I don't think I've ever seen this before. We're looking for the best pet stylist in the whole country. Release the hounds! Time's moving so quickly. I'm moving slowly though. Music sensation, Sia! Justin Bieber! Beautiful lion! This is the start of something big. Who's perfect?
What are we doing this weekend?
Just the usual.
All gazebos by Spinifex, half price. All sports footwear by Adidas, Nike and Asics, $59.
Anaconda!
Yes, things have never been so sweet. It's why we're getting under your feet. Mortein PowerGuard crawling spray kills cockroaches 2 times faster than any other brand, so the show won't go on.
Smart, more safe, Mortein.
Australia's biggest school shoe sale is on. Take 20% off all Clarks and Colorado school shoes and get an incredible 12-month warranty on all Colorado Resilience. Plus, a free squishy with every purchase over $95. Hurry into Williams & Mather's #1 for school shoes.
Is your home running out of space? Call Storage King. Whether you're moving house, renovating, downsizing, or relocating the hubby's man cave, Storage King has the answer. We also have a crack team of storage professionals who can organise it all for you, making Storage King the kings of storage, moving and more. Store before the 15th of Feb and get 1 month storage free. So visit storageking.com.au and let Storage King give you back some space.
Ooh, nature lovers. This'll be easy. Let's get them! With 98% natural ingredients, Mortein Nature Guard's all-day protection is tough on bugs, not on people.
Everyone loves the flavour and aroma of fresh herbs and spices. But it's often hard to know just when you'll need them. Which is why we lightly dry and cold blend our herbs and spices at Gourmet Garden, so they stay fresh for 4 weeks. Perfect for whenever you need them. Gourmet Garden stays fresh for longer.
Let's get more now on the crash of that water-bombing aircraft in the New South Wales Snowy Mountains. Olivia Leeming joins us now. Olivia, crash investigators have just given an update. Have they revealed anything about how this plane came down?
Well, Sal, they say it is still far too early to say what caused this crash, but have revealed key details that they will be using in their investigation, including that the plane suffered a heavy landing. It had just dropped fire retardant in what was windy conditions when it went down. The wreckage now spanning 1 kilometre in length. There are aeronautical engineers, pilots, as well as data recovery specialists deployed to look at what went wrong, using drones to map the plane's path, but they say there is nothing to suggest there was a systemic fault with the aircraft. Here's more of what authorities have had to say.
We're really much into the evidence gathering phase of this investigation. We won't be speculating. We base our findings on evidence, and for the next week and a half or so will be the evidence gathering phase on site of this particular accident. I would like
The men's families are now on their way to Australia, expected to arrive in Sydney over the weekend. Among those on board, the captain and father of 3, Ian Macbeth, First Officer Paul Clyde Hudson, who had served in the US Marine Corps for 20 years, and Flight Engineer Rick De Morgan Jr., a loving father of 2 children. Crews here still yet to recover the bodies of those men, but hoping to remove those remains later today. Sal?
Okay, thank you, Olivia. Olivia Leeming there with the latest details on the bushfire plane disaster. Well, a crew of volunteer firefighters is lucky to be alive after their truck rolled down an embankment on the New South Wales south coast. Incredibly, it ended up landing back on its wheels. The 6 men inside were able to free themselves, escaping with only minor injuries.
We just kind of approached the barrier and went kind of straight through it, and then things just went black and started rolling around, just like being on a washing machine.
The crew had been battling a bushfire that flared up in hot, gusty conditions. At least 3 rural properties were destroyed. Now let's get more on the deadly coronavirus. 4 people in New South Wales are now under investigation. Another 2 in Queensland are also being assessed. In Brisbane, scientists have become one of 3 teams in the world chosen to develop a vaccine.
This is where a team of scientists are working with the weight of the world on their shoulders. UQ is one of 3 research facilities chosen to develop a vaccine for the coronavirus. They usually like to have 3 years to do this work. This time they have just 16 weeks.
We should caution people that this would be the fastest vaccine production that you could ever imagine, and there are no guarantees of success.
They are working night and day, a team of 20 researchers with an average age of 30. Here at UQ, they've waited 20 years for this challenge. They developed and patented a vaccine platform which should allow them to use a DNA sequence to mimic the virus and then hopefully build a response.
We do mouse studies to show that it generates an immune response, other animal testing to show that it's safe.
How do we know it will work? Well, we don't, but they have had success with Ebola and flu viruses. They never took it to human trials. This is being led by a world expert and a young scientist from central Queensland, Yapoon, a father of 3, who told his children about the call from Davos, Switzerland to try to save lives.
Dad's going to try.
They could know within weeks if they've had a breakthrough in this lab.
The search has widened for a missing Brisbane pilot and his wife who disappeared while flying a light aircraft over Queensland's Moreton Island on Wednesday afternoon. Live now to Isabel Mullen, and hello to you, Isabel. The search has become a recovery mission.
That's right, the search has widened past that 500 square kilometres to include areas like the Flinders Reef and also North Stradbroke Island. Police will be using sonar technology over the reef. They've also got crews on the ground on Moreton Bay and Stradbroke Island trying to find any sign of this wreckage. The 70-year-old pilot and his 52-year-old wife, they took off from Caloundra at around 4:30 on Wednesday afternoon. The pilot, who was experienced, made a mayday call before 5, but they haven't been heard from since. Today, crews are hampered by high tides and wild conditions on the water. We caught up with members of the VMR a short time ago.
They were pretty rough on Wednesday night. It was blowy all day and it blew all night, so it wasn't very comfortable, which hampered, of course, by poor visibility.
We've been told that a wheel and a sheet of metal has been found from that wreckage. 7 News understands that's being kept at a storage facility in Redcliffe. Police now have the task of finding as much debris as possible before it's sent to Canberra for examination, so authorities can determine what went so horribly wrong.
OK, thank you very much, Isabel. Isabel Mullen there. And hopes of finding a miner alive are fading after he became trapped underground when part of a gold mine collapsed in Western Tasmania. A community is on edge awaiting results of thermal imaging which will determine whether the local man survived the accident. Laura Irving has more.
Well, for well over 24 hours, authorities were hopeful they would be able to rescue this miner who was caught in a partial mine collapse here early yesterday morning, but unfortunately specialist 3D drones which use thermal imaging technology have flown around the site and now determined that it is highly unlikely that anybody would have survived. The loader that the man was driving at the time, loading ore onto a truck, has fallen into a hole and is now almost completely covered by rockfall. The focus now turns to recovery, but the area is still so unstable and so dangerous that mine bosses aren't even sure how they'll conduct that operation.
We'll come up with a plan of how we're going to do it, but it won't involve putting people into the unsafe area. The area is quite isolated within the mine.
Because it is so unstable at this point in time, the danger is putting additional people at risk.
Our thoughts immediately have gone out to the family and friends and to the local community. As you all know, this community is a mining community and it's very devastated at the moment.
The recovery operation is likely to take several days at least, and only then will mine bosses turn their minds to the idea of reopening the mine, but that could still be some time away.
A magistrate has thrown the book at a Sydney scammer who's been taking money off farmers for desperately needed hay, then vanishing into thin air. The 27-year-old was arrested yesterday and applied for bail today, but the courts refused to free him, determined he will do time in jail.
Well, Matthew Small appeared here at Fairfield Court today where he pleaded guilty to ripping off more than $40,000 from vulnerable farmers. The 27-year-old was arrested at his home in Villawood in Sydney yesterday. Detectives from the Rural Crime Prevention Team charging him with 13 counts of dishonestly obtaining financial advantage by deception. He admitted to posting fake ads online offering to sell hay and feed at reduced prices. When contacted by potential victims, Small would ask for money up front for transport costs, then either disappear or string people along further. Those people, the court said, were struggling and desperate, often farmers battling to pay to keep animals fed following extreme drought and bushfires. We spoke with one victim who lost close to $6,000.
While most people are being amazing and helping each other in this time, it was a bit of a shock to think that someone was there to take advantage.
At this point in time, we've uncovered 9 victims throughout the state, and at this point in time, it's in excess of $30,000.
Now, Small was already the subject of an arrest warrant for similar offences when he was picked up yesterday. He applied for bail today, but it was refused, the magistrate saying his actions were calculated and unscrupulous. He'll be sentenced in March.
There's been more extreme weather in New South Wales, with Sydney hit by muddy rain, coating cars and buildings in a brown film after drought dust and bushfire smoke were whipped up by summer storms. On the Central Coast, wild winds have caused huge destruction. Tom Saker reports.
Good afternoon. Last night's storm on the Central Coast didn't last long, but it was incredibly destructive, ripping off the roof of this 3-storey unit block here in Point Frederick.
Everyone was panicking because there was wires exposed, water was coming in pretty quickly.
Close to 100 km/h gusts of wind came with the supercell, which locals say looked and felt like a mini cyclone. It tore through a small corridor on the Central Coast but left thousands of homes without power, many of which are still being restored today, including in Ettalong and Umina Beach. Tyrone Cullen was driving on the M1 when a huge tree fell onto his windshield. His car was written off, but he managed to escape without a scratch.
Yeah, the roof actually caved in on my head.
Less than 12 hours later, Sydney-siders were warned to be prepared for giant hailstones, and although it was smaller than forecast, hail did fall in suburbs, including Castlereagh. After reaching 30 degrees in Sydney at midnight, a southerly change early this morning brought thick dust covering cars and homes in the central west. There was another dust storm, and the wind change also brought heavy smoke from the fires still burning in the southern part of the state. Here in Point Frederick, residents living on the top floor who were inundated with heavy showers during that storm last night do have temporary accommodation for as long as their homes remain roofless.
Thank you, Tom. Tennis superstar Rafael Nadal has won a Melbourne teenager's heart despite accidentally hitting her with an errant shot. Ball girl Anita Birchall laughed off her injury before Nadal sealed their friendship with a kiss.
You couldn't write about this. An incredible 24 hours for now one of the world's most famous ball kids, Anita Birchall. This afternoon she was back here at Melbourne Park on her day off meeting Rafael Nadal, who personally took time out to again apologise and make sure she was okay, presenting Anita with some memorabilia. Last night, Rafael Nadal, one of the world's most famous sports people, hit her in the head accidentally with a tennis ball, checked on her and gave her a kiss for good measure. Her mum and Anita didn't have any problem with it today. They're absolutely rapt to meet Rafa again.
One night I was just going to bed and then the next morning I woke up and suddenly everyone knows me. Well, I was very touched by his kindness and yeah, it was quite amazing.
I think we both thought that was very sweet. I think it was just a really kind and caring thing to do. And I think as a mum, I wasn't on court, but it was really nice. He lifted up her hat and he had a look that she was all right and then he gave her a sweet kiss. It was absolutely innocent and a lovely gesture that we both appreciated.
A great story. We'll hear further from Anita and her mum shortly at 6 o'clock. Meantime, last night a coming-of-age performance for Nick Kyrgios, who was challenged heavily by Gilles Simon, dropping the third set. He recovered, the wheels didn't fall off at one stage. He did direct some anger at his box and he apologised in a sign of maturity post-game.
I was being a bit of a dickhead to them and I apologised as soon as I went back into the locker room because they don't deserve that.
Hit with a time violation warning, Kyrgios did manage to mimic Nadal at one stage. Nadal certainly not phased. He's focused. We'll have the latest from here at Melbourne Park at 6 o'clock.
Next in 7's afternoon news, the right royal row over who will pay for Meghan and Harry's security. The taxpayer petition against the Canadian public footing the bill. Scientists discover why stress is making people prematurely grey. We'll tell you how to stop it without the help of hair dye. And tops of 33 in Brisbane today. Sam Brett has the national forecast soon.
Mummy? Get off the pier! Cruel summer. Go! Go! Leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel summer. Now you're gone. Mommy! Get away from the water! Get away from the water!
The new series event, 911. This February, only on 7.
Be back to school smart at Officeworks. Store their schoolwork in these J. Burrows A4 2D ring insert binders, just $2.99 each. And this 10-pack of Faber-Castell connector pens is only $2.48.
Rush into Spotlight for our summer savings sale. Coo Finley quilt cover set, queen bed, $49. 30% off all mattress protectors, toppers and underlays. Buy 4, save 40% off cushions and chair pads. Exclusions apply. Rush into Spotlight now.
Hurry! A Mason summer deal ends soon. Get unlimited mobile data for just $40 for your first 3 renewals. From then on, get an epic 60 gigs each time you renew. Be quick, this deal ends 31st of Jan.
Regular air fresheners don't get rid of the bacteria that cause odours, so the smells keep coming back. Switch to Glen 20. It kills odour-causing bacteria wherever they are for a lasting freshness. Glen 20.
Dear mind, you're hard at work all day. Remember to make time for you. Balance your commitments with quality me time. Enjoy every step. Connect or reconnect. And be good to yourself. Anytime, any place. Love from me.
Create a healthier relationship with your mind. Learn more at qld.gov.au/mental wellbeing. Authorised by the Queensland Government, Brisbane.
Experience Viking, the thinking person's cruise. Explore the world in comfort on our award-winning ships with no kids and no casinos. More time in port, included shore excursions, resident historians, and all-inclusive value makes Viking the discerning traveller's cruise line.
Viking's Explorer sale now on. Save up to $4,000 per couple. Call 138 747 or see your Viking travel agent.
Titan don't just do houses, they do tiny houses too, Dad.
It's the perfect granny flat or a weekender, son.
1 bedroom, 1 floor plan, relocatable and factory built by Titan.
You don't have to be a tiny person to live in a tiny Titan house, son. It's got everything you need.
Titan create the house, you build the home. Call 13 27 36 for the Titan Display Centre near you.
You'll be lucky you got a Titan house.
Who will be to enter the Chase Arena to challenge the record books.
The best of the best.
The Chase, weekdays on 7.
There's been quite the spectacle in central Russia after 2 elephants escaped from a travelling circus. As the giant animals were filmed playing in the snow, authorities used ropes to capture them. They were eventually brought under control and safely reunited with their trainers. Well, we've been given an exclusive look at new water towers being built in the New South Wales Blue Mountains region that are helping our native wildlife impacted by bushfires. 75% of koala habitats in the region were destroyed. Jessica Ridley reports.
Well, we've all seen those very sad images of thirsty koalas and the impact the bushfires have had on our wildlife. We know that animal numbers have been decimated in recent weeks nationwide. There used to be some 3 to 4 million koalas, and our conservationists estimate that's been dramatically reduced to around 300,000. So now the race is on to save the ones that have survived, and Sydney Zoo has set up a new foundation, and its first initiative is partnering up with Science for Wildlife in Sydney's Blue Mountains. They're setting up 60 watering stations on the edges of burnt out areas to support the animals who managed to escape.
The design is so that they benefit as many species as possible. They've got a big 220-litre tank on them, and then there's a platform for koalas and gliders and species that live up trees, so they can come down the tree and have a secure place to stand while they drink.
The moisture in the environment is very, very low at the moment, so there is a current requirement to stop animals from dehydrating and dying. We're trying to lower the post-event death toll.
The Sydney Zoo Foundation's initial $100,000 donation will also go towards cameras to help researchers monitor how these watering stations are used, similar to this one outside of Dubbo. And if you'd like to donate to this program, you can visit our website.
Anger is brewing in Canada over who will pay for Harry and Meghan's security detail. More than 90,000 Canadians have signed a petition demanding the couple pay the bill themselves.
We already have a lot of rich and famous people that come here. Vancouver has a huge film scene. We have lots of million-dollar hockey players, and they don't expect taxpayers to foot their security bills. And really, they're just a rich and famous couple now. So, no, sorry, love you, but pay your own way.
Security experts predict the bill could reach more than $5 million annually. Time to check finance now with James Tower at CommSec. Good afternoon to you, James. How did the local share market finish the week?
Yeah, very good afternoon to you as well, Sally. The ASX 200, a rather choppy finish to the week. We had the ASX 200 up only 2 points today, up to 7,090 points, ahead of the Australia Day long weekend, where we will see the markets closed on Monday. It's still the third weekly gain in a row for our market, and the ASX 200 up around 6% in 2020 so far. But today we had some of the big names really helping to lift the market, the likes of Wesfarmers, CSL, both up around the 1% mark, and also the big four banks climbing. But acting as a weight, we had our major miners in the red, the likes of BHP down 1.5%, Rio Tinto down more than 2.5%, and also IAG, the insurance group, which owns the likes of NRMA, down around 5.5%. The Aussie dollar a little bit weaker as well. It's now buying just shy of 68.5 US cents.
OK, thank you very much, James Tower at CommSec for us this afternoon. Let's take a closer look now at what's making news where you are.
Coming up on 7 News at 6, more Queenslanders undergo testing for the deadly coronavirus. Brisbane scientists asked to fast-track a vaccine. Tributes for the 3 US waterbombing firefighters killed in a fiery crash. A warning to parents over the safety of pool fences. Parents furious over a delay to school book deliveries. Chilling evidence at Harvey Weinstein's rape trial, and Prince Charles and America's Vice President deny their awkward snub. Details at 6.
Jobs for older workers, the industry's hiring, the skills they're after, and the free help to find work. On 7 News, tonight at 6.
Good afternoon, it's Ben in the Expedia traffic chopper. Well, you wouldn't want to be on the Bruce Highway this afternoon with huge delays, all thanks to this crash in Caboolture heading southbound in the right lane. Also, if you're heading northbound, it's chock-a-block too with everyone heading away for the long weekend. Expedia has everything you need to book your next holiday with select flight and hotel packages under $699. T's and C's apply. Visit expedia.com.au/package deals. Have a great weekend.
Well, scientists have answered the age-old question, does stress turn hair grey? Harvard researchers have tested stem cells responsible for hair colour, and you may want to have a bit of a relaxing massage after hearing the results.
When he became US president in 2009, Barack Obama's hair was mostly black. But just before he left office, he commented himself on a noticeable change.
It was 8 years ago. I had no grey hair.
But was it his challenging job that caused the grey hair, or just age? Well, now scientists have found that acute stress can cause hair to go grey or white.
So they essentially showed that stress in the form of pain can promote depletion of the cells in the follicle which provide pigment to the hair fibre. So they showed that stress can promote hair greying.
When the body responds to stress, researchers found a chemical is released that causes too many stem cells responsible for hair pigment to activate too quickly. This limited pool of cells are then pushed out of the hair follicle and aren't replaced. This means the hair has no more pigment and turns white or grey. Albert Castile has been hairdressing for 55 years and has seen many heads of hair in that time.
Lifestyle obviously does affect people's hair. I would say that sometimes if they've got a very stressful life, they tend to go greyer.
This research could mean that in future, rather than choosing a colour to cover grey hair, we could take a tablet that stops it going grey in the first place. But this is still a long way off. So in the meantime, depending on your view, we either need to continue to embrace it or keep it covered.
Next in 7's Afternoon News, Samantha Brett will be back with a look at the weather right across the country.
Our Aussie superstars are shaking up the bash.
In the air and gone!
Tonight, every match counts to make the finals.
Well, these are big moments.
Superstar Darcy Short steps up to help the Hurricanes battle Sydney.
Or hit it for 6.
And Perth's scorching new lineup aims to strike down Adelaide. It's a do-or-die doubleheader.
That's massive.
Tonight on 7 Mate.
Your spare pair. Your glare pair. The flying through the air pair. We could all use a second pair. At Specsavers, get 2 designer pairs, no gap, from the $199 single vision range when you're with selected health funds.
If you've been thinking about university, there's never been a better time to enrol because Open Universities Australia are here to help you along the way. Get started by exploring hundreds of degrees from leading universities across the country, and we'll help you enrol online with ease without entry requirements. But enrolments close on the 23rd of February. So why wait when you can get started with Open Universities Australia? Explore, choose, enrol.
Rooftop solar rebates reduced January 1. But if you think you missed lowest prices, think again. For a limited time, Arise Solar, one of Australia's largest solar retailers, is rolling back prices to last year's maximum rebates. This month only, Arise Solar is holding over a limited quantity of Tier 1 6.6 kilowatt systems with 30-year panel performance warranty at last year's price, just $36.81. Rebate rollback prices only till January 31 or while stocks last. Call 1-800-ARISE Solar.
Ever notice nowadays that everything seems to be moving way too fast? But you can't achieve great things if you're always in a hurry. So whether you're grilling it, baking it or smoking it, cook low and slow. Char Griller. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Can you bring the glasses? Oh, it's annoying. They're still wet.
To help avoid that, just add Finish Rinseaid. It speeds up drying for drier and shinier dishes. Try Finish Rinseaid today.
Hola!
Some rides are better than others. Compare your usual rideshare app with Ola. When it comes to the number of cars, they've both got heaps. Probably the same drivers too. Same so far. But when you arrive, why pay the usual when Ola works out way cheaper? And with Ola, drivers keep more of the fare, so they want your ride. Need a ride? Download the Ola app and get 30% off rides for the first 2 weeks.
Hola!
Same, but better.
Throughout time, humankind has chased perfection.
Well, they broke the mould when they made me.
Great minds rising through acts of genius.
He's unbelievable.
Who is next to challenge the record books?
The best of the best.
The Chase, next on 7.
Time now to have a look at the weather with Samantha Brett. Good afternoon to you, Sam. We've seen a much cooler afternoon.
We have. Good afternoon, Sally. Things have certainly cooled down since those record temperatures that we saw yesterday, and that weather warning has now eased for New South Wales after that monster storm rolled in this morning. So take a look at how that storm unfolded over Bondi Beach this morning, drenching parts of our western suburbs as well, with around 15 mils of rain falling. Sydney right now is a lot cooler than in the past week, sitting at a comfortable 26 degrees. Brisbane still warm this afternoon, 30 degrees right now. Canberra currently a balmy 28, Melbourne 23 degrees. Perth a scorcher right now, it is 32 degrees. Tomorrow a trough will generate showers over Queensland and northern New South Wales, and a cold front in the southeast will bring a cool southerly change to Victoria and coastal New South Wales. Brisbane will see some showers tomorrow morning with a top of 31 degrees, 27 and a possible shower for Sydney. Dry in Melbourne, a top of 26 degrees, and blue skies for Perth and 34 degrees. And now for that all-important Australia Day forecast. It will clear up and it will heat up in Sydney with the top of 30 degrees and 35 degrees the top for Canberra. 23 degrees in Melbourne. So perfect conditions for those Australia Day barbecues. Sal?
Thanks for that, Sam. We'll go to some breaking news now, and 2 of the 4 people in New South Wales who showed symptoms of the coronavirus have now been cleared. Health authorities are waiting on the test results of the other 2 individuals. And that's 7's afternoon news for this Friday. Stay with us. We'll have another bulletin for you, live and local at 6 p.m. I'm Sally Bowrey. Hope you have a great night.
My Kitchen Rules champions.
You look different.
I've lost 85 kilos.
Our main goal was to win the prize money to start a family through IVF. And we did. Emmy would love a sister. We will give it everything we have because we know how life-changing it was the first time. I have a fire in my tummy.
Absolutely next level.
Oh my God!
It looks amazing. Come on, let's bring it on, Steph. Yes.
You think it's 10 worthy?
You're a 10.
Thanks, love. We've seen you cook. Dan and Steffi won. Yeah. But so can you. People are going to look up to you and think you're amazing.
Your life will change.
Just don't make her cry.
Emmy will be so proud.
Oh, my God.
I want to kick Colin's butt.
Entree is served.
Thank you. That's Dan and Steph back in the competition.
Can Australia's most loved team do it again? My Kitchen Rules, only on 7. It all starts Sunday, Feb 2 on 7.
These 4 strangers must work as a team to win thousands.